Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is your brother Gad coming at you with another lesson. And I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Wamalaki Yahushai, worthy of all praises, right? And I want to give another shalom to all the mighty Akims and all the mighty Akwats that are in this truth, sincere, right? Doing everything they can in the last days to magnify the Most High's name, right? And I want to give another shalom to all the teenagers and all the children out there that are reverencing their mother and their father, right? And doing all they can as well to abstain from all the peer pressure, right? And all the lust of the world. Right? Now I'm coming at you with another video, right? If you've been watching, I've been going through a Psalm series, right? We already did Psalms chapter 1, right? We did Psalms chapter 2, and now we're on Psalms chapter 3, right? The third chapter, right? Right, we're doing the Psalm series, Lord willing, and we're breaking down the chapters of Psalms, right? Scripture by scripture, right? Verse by verse, bar for bar, right? Diving into this thing, right? Diving into this thing through the Spirit, right? And we're gonna get straight into it, right? So we're on Psalms chapter 3, right? The book of Psalms chapter 3, right? And a quick note, right? Going into it, the beginning of this chapter, right? It says a Psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son, right? So we're going into the third chapter, right? Right? A Psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son, right? Now, if you know the history about Absalom, right? And I say history because I don't want to say story. You know, everybody says, oh, this is the story of Absalom, right? The story of David, the story of Abraham, right? These are not stories. These are actual accounts, right? This is actual history right? In the Bible, right? The Bible is a history book. It's not storytelling, right? Right. So the history of Absalom, right? Not going to read every chapter, but right. Absalom was one of the sons of David. I believe he was his third son, right? He was one of the sons of David, right? And Absalom killed his brother, right? For the wickedness that his brother committed. But Absalom also, right? Absalom also turned against his father as well, right? He turned against David as well, right? So we're gonna go into through the Spirit, right? Psalms chapter 3, and we're gonna start from verse 1. It says, Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me, right? Let me read that one more time, right? It says, Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me, right? Now, when you read the accounts of David, David had a lot of enemies, right? It was a lot of people that came against David, right? We know about Saul, right? We know Saul tried to kill David. We know about Goliath, right? Goliath wanted to kill David and feed his flesh to the fowls of the air, right? There were many people, right? There are many people that came against David, right? Let's go to 2 Samuel, right? Let's go to 2 Samuel. What I want, Salakia. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 15, right? We're gonna get 2 Samuel chapter 15. I want to start at verse 10, right? Now, in this account, Absalom was trying to deceive David, right? 2 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 10, right? Because many people rose up against David. And so David was asking the Lord, right? How are they that trouble me, right? Many are they that rise up against me, right? That's what David was telling the Lord, right? Salakia. Okay. Right? We go to 2 Samuel 15, and we're going to start at verse 10. It says, But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. Right? So Absalom was trying to gain the hearts of all the people, right? of all the people, right, in Israel, right, in the land of Judah, right. Absalom was Absalom was gaining, stealing all the hearts of the people, right? Let me get this real quick. 2 Samuel 15:6. Let me go up a little bit. It says, and on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel, right? Absalom was talking to the people. Anybody had a judgment that they wanted to bring to the king, a Absalom was there to listen to the people, and be there for them in a sense, right? So let me jump down to 10, right? 2 Samuel 15:10, right? It says, but Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, as soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron, right? It says, and with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything, right? So Absalom went around and he gathered up 200 men, right? It says, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything, right? So these men were yes men, right? These were yes man type of men, right? It says they knew not anything in their simplicity, meaning these men were simple, right? These men just started to follow Absalom for who knows what reason, right? It says, when you read about Absalom, right? Absalom was already talking to the people, being there for them in a sense, right? It says, right? It talks about how Absalom was a handsome man, right? It was a handsome man from his damn head all the way to his toes, right? So these men were really carnal that was following after Absalom, and these were 200 men, right? Now, you go outside. Let's say you go outside, you just see 200 men like gathering around a car or something, or gathering around the corner store, right? 200 men, 200 Jakes, right? Imagine that. That's a lot of men, right? You may say, oh, but it's not 5,000. Hey, but 200, that's a lot of men, right? Let 200 men come knocking at your door, right? Let the ops pull up with 200 people. Hey, that's a lot of people, right? So again, going back to how David said, right? Let me go back to Psalms chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are that rise up against me, right? So we're going to keep reading in 2 Samuel, right? 15, right? And let's continue on to verse 12. It says, and Absalom sent to Ahithophel, the Gileonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices. And the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom, right? So it doesn't say the number, but Absalom started to even gain more people. It says the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom. So Absalom didn't just stop there. He didn't just stop at 200 men, right? He kept going. He kept grabbing more and more men to overthrow his father, right? It says, right, verse 13, it says, and there came a messenger to David saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom, right? And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, arise and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword. Right? So a man came to David and told David what was going on, that, hey, David, hey, the hearts of the men of Israel after Absalom. Meaning, people started picking sides. They was like, hey, you rolling with David or you rolling with Absalom, right? And the conspiracy with Absalom was strong, meaning people just started to follow Absalom, right? Right? Let's keep going on that, right? Verse 15, it says, and the king's servants said unto the king, behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king shall appoint. Right? So when David heard these things, he jumped up at the drop of a dime and told all his people, let's go, right? Let's go. Let's get the hell up out of here, right? He didn't waste no time, right? David didn't waste no time, right? He didn't have second thoughts. He made haste, right? He jumped up and said what he had to say and grabbed what they had to grab, right? And the people that David was around, they was faithful, right? They wasn't just no yes man, right? They was faithful, right? They knew that the Lord was with David, right? 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 Because again, a lot of people was coming up against David, right? Let's get another precept. Right, let's go to the right. The next chapter over, right? Right, this right, as David and his men were leaving, a man comes out of his house and starts cursing David, right? Cursing David, right? Let's get that real quick. 2 Samuel 16, and we're gonna go to verse 5, right? It says, and when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera. He came forth and cursed still as he came. So he was cursed. He came out, he see David and his men, out there, because David and his men they already flee to Jerusalem. They already left. So he comes out the house. He comes out the house and just starts cursing David. Just cursing David, just talking his mess, right? While David is already on the run from Absalom and all these men that rose up against him. Now, imagine that. You trying to flee somewhere, you're leaving somewhere, and on your way to where you're going, you see other people that's talking that stuff against you, right? It's like, damn, everywhere you go, right? Verse 6, it says, and he cast stones at David and at all the servants of King David, and all the people and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. So this man just starts talking crazy, and he throwing stones at David and his man. He throwing stones. You know what I'm saying? He picking up stones and just throwing them while he talking his stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like David said, right? Psalms 3:1. Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. And through the Spirit, this might be you, right? You in this truth, right? You separated from the world, right? And everybody's just against you, right? Your family against you, right? Your mom might be against you. People at the workplace might be against you. You at the damn store. People at the store against you, right? This is the life this is on a deeper level. This is the life that we live, right? Right. So let's give verse 2, right? Verse 2, right? Psalms 3:2. It says, many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. Selah, right? And that might be you. David said, many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. And a lot of people, they may treat you like that, right? They may even say these things, right? Let's get a precept on that. Right? Let's get a precept on that. Right? Because people scoff. People scoff at you, right? They say, oh, he's still reading that Bible, right? Right? This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, right? And if you haven't read Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, you got to read that. Right? It's going into the mind of the wicked, right? The mind of the wicked and the mind of those that are in the world, right? That don't believe, right? It could be our people. It could be the other nations. Just those that are in the world, just wicked people, right? That don't believe in God, right? Right? This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. And let's start at verse 13. It says, he professeth to have the knowledge of God, right? Remember, when you read the beginning of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, it's saying what the ungodly reasoning themselves in their minds, of what they have in their minds, right? Right. And this is how they look at those that believe in God, those that have the fruits of the Spirit, right? Those that keep the commandments of God, those that are in this truth. This is how they look at you, right? Whether you believe it or not, they might smile in your face, but this is what they think about you, right? It says, he professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from he abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his father. Right? So this is what they're saying, right? This is the point, right? It's like in verse 17. It says, let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. Right? This is right. And this is what they're saying. So if they're saying that, if they're saying these words, it said, let us see if his words be true. Right? Meaning that they're saying, hey, let us see if what he's speaking is the truth. Let us see if there is a God. Right? Let us see if his God gonna defend him. Right? Let's see if he about what he say. Let's see if any of this is real, because we don't believe it. Right? This is what they're saying. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. Right? This is the point. For if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Right? So they said, for if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hands of his enemies. Right? And so in other words, hey, that's them saying that there's no help for him in God. Right? Right. That's them saying that. Right. And when you look at it as a deeper level, right? Remember, you got to have discernment when you read the scriptures. You can't just read it and you can't just read it like it's just words, right? You have to really imagine this, right? You got to really imagine this, right? You may even read certain things. You may have flashbacks of what happened to you in your life, right? Or something, or it might remind you of a time that you had, right? So this is what David is saying, right? We're gonna read verse 2 again. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God, right? It says, right, verse 3, it says, but thou, O Yahweh, art a shield for me, my glory and the lifter up of my hand. Right. So as people are saying certain things against us, hey, we're going to say, these are things that we're going to say. Right? They're saying, oh, there's no help for him in God. Oh, she's still wearing that hair wrap in that dress. Oh, he still celebrate that, might talk about the Passover or something. Right? He's still wearing those things at the bottom of his shirts. It's been 3 years already. He's still doing that. Right? But while they're saying that, hey, we're saying, hey, the Lord is our shield. Right? He's our shield. Hey, he's our glory. He's the lifter up of our heads. Right? Right? He is who we trust in and believe. Right? Let's get a precept on that. Right? Let's go to the book of Psalms. Let's get 18. Let's get Psalms chapter 18 and verse 1. Right? This is what we saying why they saying that, right? Psalms 18 and 1. It says, I will love thee, O Yahweh, my strength. Yahweh is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. Hey, so we're exalting the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, right? We're saying these things. Hey, the Lord is our God, right? He's our salvation, right? This is who we trust in, right? This is who we believe in. Hey, he's our high tower, right? It says, I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised, right? So, hey, we say, hey, all praises to the Most High. People laugh at us. People come against us, right? Hey, we say all praises to the Most High, right? It says, so shall I be saved from my enemies, right? That's right. That's right. It says, the sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly man made me afraid. Right? Because those that rise up against us, they're the ungodly, right? They're the ungodly, right? These are the people that celebrate Christmas. These are the people that hate their own people, right? These are the people that hate the Lord's people, right? It says, the sorrows of hell compass me about, right? It's like, let me read verse 4 again, right? Psalms 18:4. It says, the sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly man made me afraid. Hey, that's that's going back to verse 1 again, all over again. Many there be, right? It says, many are they that rise up against us. Then in verse 2, he says, many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. Right? David keeps saying many of them rising against me. Many of them are saying that, right? Many of them are saying that there's no help, that there's no hope, right? David keeps saying many of them are laughing at me when they see me wear my fringes, right? Many of them roll their eyes when I bring up the scriptures, right? This is what's going on. Right, Psalms 18 and verse 5. It says, the sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. Right, right. Verse 6. In my distress, I called upon Yahweh and cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. You see that? So this is what happens, right? Hey, we bring it to the Most High, right? We pray to the Most High, right? We meditate on the Most High, right? And you call upon him, hey, and he hears us, right? David said, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. You see that? And we believe this thing, right? We believe this thing, right? Psalms chapter 3, and we're gonna get it's like, oh yeah, so we have verse 4, right? Right? Psalms chapter 3 and verse 4. It says, I cried unto Yahweh with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. Selah. You see that? Right? Verse 5. I laid me down and slept. I await, for Yahweh sustained me. You see that? So when you go to sleep, when you lay yourself down to sleep and you wake up, the Lord did that, right? The Lord sustained you. The Lord kept you safe throughout the night while you were sleeping, right? Because you may be sleeping, and when you sleep, when you're sleeping, sometimes you don't know what's going on. Some people don't wake up, right? But David said, I lay me down and slept. I await, for Yahweh sustained me. That's what the Most High does to those that call upon his name, right? He's going to sustain you throughout the night, right? No trouble is going to befall you, throughout the night. No one's going to come against you. The Lord's going to protect you, the Lord's going to protect you throughout that time. Because when you're asleep, anything could happen. Look at what happened. Look at what happened to Saul, right? When David and his men went into the camp while Saul and all his men was sleeping, right? David's man, they was TTG, they was trained to go, right, at a green light, right? They was trained to go at a green light. David man said, let me thrust my spirit through him, and he gonna and thrust my spirit through him and put it into the ground, right? He was ready, right? The scripture says a deep sleep came upon Saul, right? Saul and his men, to where they didn't know that David was there, right? So reading on, right? Let's get verse 6. It says, Psalms 3 and verse 6, it says, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. You see that? David said, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. right? Because hey, we don't fear man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the battle is not in the multitude of people, right? Let's get a precept. Right, let's get a precept. Let's go to Psalm chapter 118. Right? Psalms chapter 118. Right? Let's start at verse 6. Right? Psalm 118 and verse 6. It says, Yahweh is on my side. I will not fear what can man do unto me. Hey, so we know that's why we don't fear. We will not be afraid. Hey, we won't be afraid, right? Hey, if it's 500 people coming up against us, hey, we won't be afraid of these things. We won't be afraid if we're at camp and 1,000 people come in front of us and kind of they try to shut down the words of the Lord, right? They might be yelling, they might be throwing stuff. Hey, guess what? Hey, the men of the Lord, hey, they gonna stand there as bold as a lion, right? We don't fear what man can do unto us, right? Verse 7, it says, The Lord taketh my part with them that help me. Therefore shall I see my desire upon them that hate me. Hey, because those that do us wrongfully, those that come against the words of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, hey, we know that it's not going to end well for them, right? We know that it's not going to end well for them. Look at, hey, read the scriptures. Where at in history did anyone come against the Most High and didn't get dealt with? Hey, the Most High brings down nations, kingdoms, right? He does this thing, right? He does this, right? Verse 8, it says, It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in man, right? Because a lot of people put confidence in man, right? A lot of people, they see, if it's 50 on down 20, a lot of people, if they're in that 20, they're going to be scared, right? Because they see it's 50 man against 20. They see that they're outnumbered, right? But the righteous, if it's 20 against 50, those that trust in the Most High, they're not going to fear, right? Look at the Maccabees, right? The Maccabees were always outnumbered, right? They were always outnumbered. And guess what? They didn't fear. And they fought and the Lord gave them victory, right? They fought and the Lord gave them victory. Right, let's get another precept, right? Right, so we will not be afraid of 10,000s of people. Right, let's go to Joshua. Salakia. Let's go to Joshua chapter 1 and verse 9. It says, Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Right? So you got to be strong. Right? If you trust in the Most High, you got to be strong. You can't faint. The Lord said if you faint in the day of adversity, your faith is small. Right? If you faint because somebody threw a rock at you, and now you getting you damn sweating and your heart beating hella fast, and you fear you must not really believe. That means your faith is small, right? Right, Joshua 1 and 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. Right? Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For Yahweh thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. You see that? And you got to believe that. You got to believe the Most High is with you wherever you go. You can't just think he's there when you're at home. When you're at home, he's here. But when you hop on the road and you go on the freeway, you can't think that, he's still at the house. Right? He's still at the house. I gotta be careful because he's still at the house. You gotta understand, he's with you whithersoever you go. Wherever you go. Right? A lot of people believe that God is only with them when they go to church on Sunday. When they go to church on Sunday, they think he's in the church. And once they step foot out that church, hey, they on their own. They believe they on their own, and that the Lord is not there. You know. Let's get another precept. Right. Let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus chapter 14 and verse 14. It says, Yahweh shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. You see that? So, hey, who cares if 100 people come against 3? Hey, the Most High gonna fight for you. You know, no matter what happens, you gotta trust. You gotta trust in the Most High, right? You gotta trust the process. You know, you gotta trust the process. Now you don't want to be a fool. Now, you know, we're not saying to be a fool, right? You want to have discernment, right? You don't want to damn jump off a 3-story building and say the Most High is with me, right? That'll be foolish, right? You'll be a fool, right? That'll be foolish. You want to have discernment, right? Psalms, going back to Psalm chapter 3, right, in verse 7, it says, Arise, O Yahweh, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Yeah, and that's right. Hey, when you read the history of David, hey, by the time David, you know, was old, you know, and died of natural causes, all his enemies was dead. You know, all those that rose up against him, you know, was put to naught. You know, all those that rose up against him was put to naught. Right? Let's go back to Psalms 18 again. Right? Psalms chapter 18 go hard. Right? You got to read that. Right? Psalms chapter 18. Right? And let's get verse 48. Right? Psalm 18 and 48. Right? And it reads, He delivered me from mine enemies. Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Right? And through the spirit, hey, this whole chapter is going into salvation, right? Going into, you know, this chapter is deep, you know, it's going into salvation, right? It's going into, you know, on a deeper level, it's going into Jacob's trouble, right? It's going into a lot of things. David was speaking through the spirit, right? David was really cooking, right? Right? It says, thou hast delivered me from the violent man, right? It says, therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Yahweh, among the heathen, and sing praise unto thy name. Right? You see that? Hey, the Lord is going to destroy all of our enemies, right? He did it before, and he'll do it again. Right? It was a time, you know, coming out of Egypt, right? He destroyed all the Egyptians that came against us. Right? He closed the waters on them after we crossed the Red Sea. Right? He closed the waters on them. Right? Even in the time of David. Hey, David was shutting things down. Right? David was shutting all our enemies down. You know, through the spirit of the Most High. Right? David was shutting all our enemies down. And then by the time his son Solomon took the throne, Solomon didn't go to war not one time. Right? David had a lot of battles. David going to war, you know, with the Philistines. He's going to war with Moab. He cutting all the males of Esau off. He was shutting Esau down, right? Right? David was shutting Esau down. So in the time of Solomon, it was, you know, and remember, this is around 1000 BC, you know. I'll say, damn, 970 BC, right? David was shutting them down, right? Through the spirit and power of the Most High God, right? That's why David is saying in Psalms, right? In Psalm 3 and 7, right? I'm gonna read that again. It says, "Arise, O Yahweh, save me, O my God. For thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly." Now, David and his men were doing the slaying, but he knew that it was through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? And that's a humble thing to say. David didn't boast and say, "Look at what I did," right? Look at what me and my man did. And he gave glory to the Most High God, right? Didn't he just say that, right? Let's read that again in Psalms 18 and 48. Read that again. You got to read this thing very carefully, right? It says, "He delivered me from mine enemies," right? He said, "He delivered me from mine enemies." Slocky, let me go up one. Let me go up one. This thing is good, right? Verse 47, right? Psalms 18 and 47. It says, "It is God that avengeth me and subdueth the people under me. He delivereth me from mine enemies. Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Yahweh, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name." You see that? All honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Right? Let's get Psalms, let's get the last verse on this, right? Psalms 3 and verse 8. It reads, "Salvation belongeth unto Yahweh. Thy blessing is upon thy people, Selah." Yeah, and that's right. That's right. Salvation belongeth unto the Most High. Right? Thy blessing is upon thy people, Selah. Right? Let's go to Psalms 115. Right? And if you didn't know, right? If you a heathen and you watching this, right? If you're not an Israelite, hey, the blessing is upon the Israelites. Right? And the Most High does what he wants to do. Right? Right, this book of Psalms, chapter 115 and verse 3, it says, "But our God is in the heavens, he have done whatsoever he pleaseth." You see that? "But our God is in the heavens, he have done whatsoever he pleases." Hey, so the Most High God does what he wants to do, right? His blessing is upon his people, right? And salvation belongeth to him, right? Salvation belongeth to him. Let's go to Romans, right? Salvation belongeth to the Most High, right? We go to Romans chapter 9 and verse 14. It says, "What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid." You see that? So what? Because the Most High blessed his people and is blessed the Israelites and only the Israelites, right? Because David was an Israelite, right? David said, "Thy blessing is upon thy people." He talking about his people. He talking about his nation, right? He didn't say thy blessing is upon all those that dwell on the earth, right? David didn't say that, right? You can't make the scriptures what you want the scriptures to be, right? In Romans 9 and 14, it says, "What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God?" Right? God forbid, right? God forbid means no, meaning there's no unrighteousness with God. Just because God don't do what you want him to do, or he don't think the way you think, doesn't mean he's unrighteous, right? Verse 5, it says, for he saith unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion." The Most High is running the show, right? He does whatsoever he wants to do, right? Nobody can't tell him nothing, right? And it is what it is, right? Let's jump to verse 20. It says, "Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou formed me thus?" Right? So are you going to say, well, why the blessings are not on Esau? That's not right. He shouldn't have done that, right? Or you're going to say, why isn't the blessings on Moab, right? Right? On the tiger and the dragon, right? Is that what you're going to say? He said, who art thou that replies against God? Right? Verse 21, it says, hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? You see that? The Most High does what he wants to do, right? Let me read that again. Had not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? Right? What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? You see that? You see that? The Most High has vessels that are fitted for destruction, right? He declared the end from the beginning. He does what he wants to do, right? He does what he wants to do, right? Verse 23 is good too. It says, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory, right? Which it says, which he had afore, meaning he had this thing going on before you even knew it, right? Before you was even thought of, right? It says, which he had afore prepared unto glory. So you got vessels fitted for destruction and captivity, and you have vessels fitted for the kingdom and for glory and for salvation and for the blessings, right? That's what's going on here, right? Let's get the classic. Let's get Deuteronomy, right? 7 and verse 6, right? Most High chose the Israelites. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy Yahweh thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You see that? Now what you gonna say to that? Right? What you gonna say to that? Right, let's get Psalms 3 and verse 8 again. It says, salvation belongeth unto Yahweh. Thy blessing is upon thy people. Selah. You see that? Selah. Right? Let's get the closing precept. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24. And let's get verse 44, right? Matthew 24 and 44. It says, therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh, right? So you're living in the last days, right? Right? The Lord said, hey, therefore be ye also ready, right? So you got to be ready, right? You got to have your clothes on, right? You got to have your garment on. You got to have your shoes on. You got to let your hair, right? You got to let your head like no ointment, right? Keep the oil, keep the flame, right? Right? Keep the faith, right? Keep the commandments, right? Keep all things and watch in all things, right? It says, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh, right? And with that, I'm going to close up, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Shalom.